Welcome to Scorched Earth. This is going to be a general reading for the sign of Aries, Sun, Moon and Ascendant for the month of May. If you don't know what your moon or ascendant signs are, have a look in the description box below. There's a link down there that will help you get your birth chart for free, and then you should come back and watch the videos for your moon and ascendant signs because they'll give you a better idea of what's going on with you overall. My books are open for personal readings again. I think I'm fully booked for May and June, but the parameters of the scheduler, which is down in the description box, are set to 60 days ahead. So, you know, as every day progresses, so another day will open up at the other end. I don't really want to book any further in advance than that because who knows what will be going on by then. So, if you're interested in booking a personal reading, just keep checking it and slots will become available. Thank you, huge thank yous in fact, for your continued support with your subscribes and your comments and your likes and your shares and all that kind of business. It really means a lot to me, and the donations and the messages as well are greatly appreciated. I've had some awesome messages recently actually. I've really chuffed, some wicked comments as well. So with all of that said, let's get some cards for you. I'm using the Crow Tarot today, which is odd because you're the only sign that I've used this for this round of videos, but it was quite insistent it wanted to be used. So can I have 3 cards for Aries, please, for the month of May? The first card that you have is the Tower. It's a card of Scorpio in the Major Arcana. The second card is the 9 of Wands. Oh my God, excuse me, it's my water repeating on me. And what's coming towards Aries, please? The King of Wands. That's interesting. At the bottom of the deck, we've got a 2 of Wands, and I'm not at all surprised to see that there, with the Tower being in your energy at the moment. Let's get some clarifiers. Yeah, I'm going to use the Wildwood to clarify. This one I have been using all week. Oh, itchy nose. I'll give it a quick shuffle. That's interesting. Got the wheel that's turned. What the fuck? This card's literally trying to, the entire deck's trying to jump out of my hands, right? Anyway. Why is the Tower here for Aries, please? We've got the Moon on Water, which is the Moon in a standard deck. That's the card of Cancer. Why is the Tower here for Aries, please? And the Fool. That's interesting also. Right, 9 of Wands, please. We have the Guardian. Oh shit, actually, oh, I've got fucking cards everywhere. No, fuck this, I'm putting them all back in. There's like 6 cards on the table as well. 9 of Wands for Aries. That's better. Oh, we've got 2. The World Tree and the Queen of Stones. That's the World. The Queen of Stones is the Queen of Pentacles. King of Wands. We've got 5 of Vessels, which is the 5 of Cups. Where's the King of Wands here? That one. And the Knight of Arrows, Hawk, which is the Knight of Swords. On the bottom of the deck, we've got the Forest Lovers, which is the Lovers in a normal deck. And I'm not surprised to see that here either because we've got the 2 of Wands at the bottom of the deck there. So, Aries. The first card that you've got is the Tower, and like I said, that's the card of Scorpio in the Major Arcana, but it's in your recent past, and it feels like there's a... When the Tower energy comes in, what it does is it pulls down things that have not been, you know, either, you know, built on correct foundations or have failed to be maintained in some way, right? It's a very shocking, sudden energy, and it kind of pulls away those structures that we have up until this point kind of based our life on. And this could be anything. This could be, you know, a relationship. This could be losing a job. This could be something happening to your house. You know, it's unforeseen, and it kind of comes in and it shakes everything up. It turns everything on its head. It's a very uncomfortable energy, right? Specifically because it does mess about with the foundations of everything. But it is ultimately a gift, and that is the way I always see the Tower, right? It's rarely feels like a good thing when it's happened, but when the dust settles and you start to rebuild, then you see how it has been a gift. It's pulled those things out of your life that don't need to be there anymore. And interestingly, when this comes up, I was getting a feeling like there's been an opportunity, a number of opportunities for you to do that yourself, and maybe you didn't, and that's why the universe steps in. Or maybe you brought the Tower. Now, take it as it resonates to you. But the two cards that you've got to clarify are the Moon on the water, like I said, and the Fool. Now, this is quite a deep combination of cards, and I really, really like it. First off, I love to see the Fool after any sort of catalyzing event. So the Tower, death, the universe, you know, the World card, as it is. This is a card of a new start. This is uncharted territory, right? And so we've got cards that speak about endings and disruption. And then we've got a new start, right? This is you making the best use of the Tower energy that you possibly can. And it's come by way of internal reflection, right? Because we've got the Moon. And it can talk about secrets and hidden things. So it's possible that a secret or a hidden thing coming to light is what caused this to happen. But more often I tend to see this card as talking about digging around into the depths of your psyche, right? And pulling out the things that are internally hidden from you, from your conscious mind, and acknowledging them, seeing them for what they are, and changing yourself, absolutely, but ultimately changing the way that you view the world as a result. I mean, I might just pull another card because I'm like super nosy. Not that one, that one. And this is in the recent past, so this has already happened. Tell me about this Moon card, please. Tell me about Moon. Yeah, see, exactly. I was just talking about change of perspective. Right, we've got the Justice card come up. Now, this can be contracts, this can be legal proceedings, it can be that sort of thing. Or we can be talking about something bigger than that. We can talk about a karmic cycle, right? Being as it's come out to clarify the Moon, it's possible that something that was hidden from you came to light, right, at the correct time when it was supposed to. And this kind of flipped your perspective on a lot of things. Now, usually there's a tree on the Hanged Man here, but I noticed that actually there's a moon there, right? It's almost like, because you turned towards the moon, it's like you see the hidden thing, whether that's something hidden within you or that's a secret or something that came to light. It completely changed your perspective, and I get a sense that it really did come out at the right time, right, for you to learn it. And it was probably deeply uncomfortable, and it was probably something that you wished hadn't happened, but it has, and you're making the best use of it by utilising the Fool, by moving forwards. Now, the card in your present energy is the 9. I've just noticed you're at the bottom of the deck there, Aries, as well, which is cool. The 9 of Wands I usually interpret as to talk about boundaries and things like that, and that still may have some relevance. But the first thing I thought when I saw this card after the Tower was picking up the pieces. And this is what this crow's doing. It's picking up the wands and it's kind of rebuilding. It is, to the best of its ability, creating a new paradigm for itself, like a new set of boundaries, because it feels like whatever this was, it kind of blew some stuff up. Right? When we're talking about foundation, when your foundation goes and you have to reconstruct a new one, you know, it's a slow and steady process, and that feels like what you're doing, and you have erected quite a few already, but the work's still continuing. The clarifying cards are the World Tree, which is, you know, the world. It's the end of a cycle. And the Queen of Pentacles, or the Queen of Stones as it is here. So feel very strongly that you know that you are creating a new paradigm for yourself. You know that a cycle has ended. You know that you're starting a new one. And you are actively constructing what that is, which is really, really healthy, because it means that you are co-creating your own existence, right? It's there's some sadness with it. I feel the sadness, but it's like like I said, this was uncomfortable. I can feel that. And there's some sadness that goes along with this reconstruction that's going on. But you're doing it anyway, right? And the sun is shining on your endeavours. And although you might not be feeling 100% positive at the moment, like, there's still this kind of sense of liberation coming from it. Right? We've got this a kind of shadow of a thing here that looks a little bit like a phoenix, right? Something has been liberated from your shoulders, and now the hard work begins of reconstructing something else. Tell me about this world tree. What do I need to know about this world tree? Ooh. Oh, fuck. Tell me about the world tree. Yeah, like everything came in at exactly the right time. We've got the Ten of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, so this could be about work, but it could be about family as well. I notice that the Pentacles are up in the tree, the world tree, perhaps, and there's a family underneath it, so maybe this is a family issue. The Wheel of Fortune has come out with the Three of Cups. Like, everything happened at exactly the right time, as it was meant to, and I feel like you are being asked to take some heart by from that fact. You take some comfort in it, because this, although it felt like it came out of left field for you, actually this has been aligning for a little while. And what the Tower always is course correction. You know, that's what the disruption is. It's taking you from one direction and altering you slightly, shifting. And the Wheel of Fortune confirms that for me. Now we've got the Three of Cups come up here. Also underneath Ascending. So there's some cause for celebration, even though you might not see it yet. Yeah. I actually feel like you've left some people behind, actually, rather than it being a cause for celebration. We've got these three women here. And as I'm looking at them, they're actually looking a little bit self-satisfied. It's like you've moved yourself away, you've distanced yourself from these people. And it was correct that you did so. Now I've got this Queen of Pentacles here, right? And I find this card looks pretty angry, right? Normally with the Queen of Pentacles, we associate, you know, a very loving, caring and nurturing feel about it. But this is quite angry. It's just kind of like a mama bear thing going on. Tell me about the Queen of Stones. Why is that here for Aries? Ace of Cups. Why is the Queen of Stones here for Aries? The Ten of Pentacles tried to show its face again there, which is lending some credibility to the idea that this might be family related. But the Three of Pentacles has come out kind of sideways. And I don't feel like that's coincidental. I don't really believe in coincidences anyway, to be fair, but for me, the Queen of Stones, Queen of Pentacles, is the mother archetype, right? And I usually get lots of different feelings from her, and they're usually kind of erring more towards sadness often, actually. But this is angry. Right? Now, you'll have to take it as it resonates to you, but it might be that your mother is involved in this somewhere. That's possible. Or it might be that somebody has upset you with regard to your own children. And you're kind of distancing yourself from. I'm getting this distancing rather than a complete severing of ties, which I think I would get from it being this way up, or a working together that you would get from it being this way up. The fact that it's come out this way around means it's kind of like it's not being overtly stated, but there's a kind of shuffling backwards now. This Ace of Cups is interesting also, because that speaks about new love, or a renewal of love, potentially. But it's also possible that this Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Stones, might actually be you, right? Bear with me a second, bear with me, because I see the Queen of Pentacles as someone who really understands the value of something. And often I refer to this as the self-care queen, because she knows how to look after herself, right? She knows that she cannot get distracted, she knows that she cannot fill from an empty cup, specifically. And I sense maybe this is you getting a handle on your own self-worth here, and being actually quite displeased about the way that you've been treated about things. It's I was going to say a low-level resentment, but I don't really feel like that is it. Oh shit. Yeah. We've got the Three of Swords and the Eight of Swords that have come out there, right? That's heartbreak and feeling trapped. I think you broke that. You broke that feeling of being trapped. You broke the feeling of heartbreak. And again, I'm not sure that this is one single act of heartbreak. It feels like it's potentially something that was like death by 1,000 cuts. It was just kind of over and over and over, and that's what made you feel trapped. And somehow you have released yourself. You've broken the cycle of all of this, and you're cross about it, right? You're really cross, but you value yourself, and you value what your human experience enough to disassociate yourself from it, slowly but steadily, because it's the Three of Pentacles, right? It's slow, steady movement, retreating backwards, I feel. And there's a certain sort of, like I said, there's a weary feel to it, there's a sadness to it, but there's also some anger associated with it as well. And you've done the right thing, you've made all the right moves, and you are moving forwards in absolutely the correct way. But it's left you feeling some kind of way about the whole experience, actually. So what's coming towards you is the King of Wands. Now, this could be a fire sign like yourself. It's strictly Leo, but it could be Aries or Sagittarius, and it could well indicate you as well as someone else. I've just said that. I'm repeating myself. But what I'm getting off this card more than anything else is contentment, actually. Which is really interesting, given everything that's in your current energy. So this could be somebody moving towards you. This could be you finding yourself. This really could just be you standing up on your own 2 feet, to be honest, because what we've got here is the Five of Cups underneath, right? And that usually talks about loss. It usually talks about grief. It talks about, focusing too hard on those things that are lost and not paying attention to those things that still remain. But interestingly, in the Wildwood deck, this is recategorized as ecstasy, right? Which is interesting, because the 5 is a very unstable energy, right? It blows up the foundation. We've had this foundation blow up already, right? And it's very destabilizing. And usually the way to stabilize a 5 card is when it comes out reversed, right? That has a stabilizing effect on that card. But because the meaning of this is completely different, it's almost like you're finding, in the month of May, you're finding the stability by having the card come out the right way up on an unstable situation, right? You know you've done the right thing, and you will become more comfortable with that as time progresses. I've just noticed that we've got Leo at the bottom of the deck here. It's strength. Let me get some more cards for that. What am I going to go with? Commonplace Tarot, I think. Why is this Five of Vessels ecstasy card here for Aries? The World. Six of... Yeah, right. So we're talking about stabilization, right? I've just been whittering on about it, and here comes, you know, the Six of Pentacles, which talks about balancing yourself out and stabilizing yourself and the world, right? You're coming to terms with whatever this ending is, right? And balancing out your opinion of it, and actually sloughing off any feelings of anger or resentment, or, you know, having been taken for granted or whatever. You're releasing all of that. She seems like she's actually involved in some sort of ritual here. It might be that you are, you know, spiritually inclined and you're going to do something, you know, a cutting of the cords or something like that, to distance yourself energetically from that. And there's a great sense of total freedom that comes from that. Then it's not just the fact that you have done it and you have released yourself, you've moved away, you know, in maybe physical proximity, who knows, but energetically you're doing the work as well, and that's really good for you. The second card that you've got is the Knight of Arrows, which is the Knight of Swords in a standard deck, and it's a hawk, right? Hawks have incredible vision. They can see very far into the future, yeah, across maybe they can see into the future, who knows? That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Anyway, I'm crossing over here because they can see physically very far. And I feel like you can see maybe into the future, but you're getting a sense of a direction and you're getting ready to kind of move in that direction very, very fast. Tell me about the Knight of Arrows, please. Yeah, see the two cards that, oh, that's interesting. We've got Queen of Pentacles at the bottom of this deck now as well, with the King of Wands. What the fuck? That's really interesting. This is either somebody, no, actually, leave that for a second. Let's come down to here. This hawk, right? It's free, right? Birds are signs of liberation because they can spread their wings and they can fly off at any point. The two cards that came out to clarify are the Eight of Swords, right? And the Two of Cups. Now, this, you know, has already come out, talks about being trapped and talks about being restricted, right? Earthbound, somewhat, but by their own mind, right? This card talks about somebody, you know, often I feel somebody who's waiting to be rescued, right? That isn't you, because it's come out to clarify this. I think it says that you are now understanding that you cannot be trapped by your own mind, but also be trapped by anybody else, because when it comes down to it, you will just spread your wings and you'll fly off because you are not earthbound, right? I'm getting quite a lot of spiritual overtones with this. I feel like at least a good proportion of you are practitioners of some description of yourself, and are getting a very heavy ritual kind of component to what it is that you're going to undertake in May. It's going to be very successful. And then we've got this Two of Cups here, and it's like it's liberating you from a personal relationship. Now that could be a significant other, like a partner, but it could be a family thing as well. It could be friends. It could even be a job, actually, if you want to read it that way. But the important bit here is this hook. It's this ability to leave everything behind and be very fucking happy doing it, right? I'm going to pull some more cards on the King of Wands, whilst also referring back to the fact that the King of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles is under here. Like, this Queen of Pentacles is a much softer energy, right? It's all the rage is gone. Nothing remains there in that card except for an energy that is looking after itself and valuing its pentacle, right? And the King of Wands is underneath there to support. So maybe this is somebody who is supporting you in this endeavour. Let's have a look. If it's not, it could just well be you balancing out these two bits of your the components of your energetic makeup, because we all have masculine and feminine attributes, right? And a king and a queen are complementary because they're active and passive or receptive, Anything from the wand suit indicates a doing of something, right? An activity. There's no sitting around with this. The Pentacles, we're back to that kind of nurturing feeling, right? Noticing that the Emperor's at the bottom of the deck again here now. It's nurturing and care, but it is receptivity as well. So big balancing out. Tell me about this King of Wands. Why is he here for Aries, please? What's he talking about? So that, wow. Yeah, I mean this might well be someone coming in, possibly. But it might well be you, because what we've got is the Ace of Cups here and the King of Cups, right? And it's about you walking away from a situation that holds no emotional value for you anymore, a situation that you have been distancing yourself from. Yeah? We've got the Sword, so you've kind of mentally distanced yourself from it, but here we've got you emotionally distancing yourself. Right? We're looking objectively at this situation and actively choosing to walk away from the emotional situation as was, right? And walking towards something that is ultimately much more fulfilling for you, because we've got the King of Cups here, right? And like I said, that could be somebody doing that for you, or assisting you with it, supporting you. Or it could be that this is just you really stepping into your own and taking charge of yourself, taking charge of your own emotional mastery, understanding yourself. It's about going after what makes you happy, right? That King of Cups is holding one cup there, that's the Ace. Right? Possibly self-value. But these two together make the Nine of Cups, which is a card of being emotionally fulfilled all by yourself, right? It's about knowing what makes you happy. It's about knowing what it is that you want and going after it specifically. We've got the Seven of Wands at the bottom of this deck, but there's no sense of being aggressive or defensive. That's just ready. It's like you do the work. You're doing the work here currently at the moment, and what's coming in May is a strengthening of that position, because this woman's got her eyes closed. She's not actually in any fear of being attacked, really. She's ready if it comes, but she doesn't anticipate it coming anytime soon. If she was really that wary, if she was really that worried, her eyes would be open and she would have a much more guarded stance than she does here. But this is just kind of powerful. It's just like, fuck you, I'm not going to take any of your shit from any of you. We've got the Five of Swords underneath here. And the Page of Cups directly underneath that, which is interesting. Because the Page of Cups for me often talks about an apology. And the Five of Swords talks about a break in communication, and it could be either that you're anticipating the return of somebody who is going to apologise for some shitty behaviour, or you're not, which is the thing, right? You kind of accept that this apology is not coming, right? And you're comfortable with that. You don't mind, because you are strong all by yourself. Like, me fucking doubt. Nobody's going to trap you like this again. Nobody's going to make you feel restricted. You are a free being, all by yourself. Wow, that's quite impressive. But it was a lesson that you needed to learn. I mean, we've got the Wheel of Fortune came out and the Justice card came out as well. Like, yeah, it feels like everything's happened at exactly the right time for you. And although it's been uncomfortable and potentially quite difficult, we'll come back to these shadow cards here. you know, this talks about crossroads. This talks about making a conscious choice, right? And it's usually one that has some fairly big life repercussions on it. Right? Both cards of decision making. And this is you deciding how you move forwards. And it feels like you're really taking ownership of everything now. And you understand that even when things are hard, you're still able to meet the challenge, right? Okay. Aries do have an ability to be able to put difficult emotional things to one side in order to make the right decisions for you, because you're trailblazers, right? You don't travel along the path that's been cut by others, right? You're the one with the machete cutting your way through the underbrush, and you're leading other people forwards, right? You're the first sign in the zodiac, always number one, always in charge, always leading. And something about the situation that you were in was actually quite disempowering for you. And I feel like it happened over a long time. Like I said, death by 1,000 cuts. It was kind of like the frog being boiled very, very slowly, from cold water, rather than being just dropped into it. Because I think if you'd just been dropped into it, you'd have leapt straight out and gone, fuck you, no, and I'm, gone. You wouldn't have seen you for dust. This has been a long, slow, protracted, drawn-out process, and it kind of snuck up on you. But now you've seen it for what it is, you're letting it go. And that's great. That's really healthy. So I'm going to do an extended, because I'm doing those for pretty much all of the signs this month. So if you're interested, the link will be in the description box down there. But if this is where we part ways, all's the good. Best of luck with everything. Like you're just doing the right thing. Everything's correct here. Yeah. And I'll be back in probably less than a fortnight for the mid-months.